So, hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy, Big Blue Drew, 97 here, coming at you with another Dr. Stone manga chapter reaction video, this time reacting to manga chapter 197, and oh boy am I excited for this one, because if you don't remember what happened last chapter, we got to see Suika, spoilers, doing her thing. She revived Scince approximately 7 years later, and just some piece of information that I want to correct about that video, and it's something that I learned later on. Suika isn't like 18 or 19, so she hasn't completely caught up with the official ages, more of the biological ages of Scince and the gang, because they're around like 19, 20. She's probably around 15, because even though it took her like 7 years to get to the point where she could resurrect Scince, at least 2 or 3 of those years was specifically her stuck in stone, so it was like probably around like 4 or 5 years that she actually like spent like actually like helping to save Scince, but it's still a very high accomplishment. But now she's probably around 15, so we will most likely get that confirmation of her age hopefully in this chapter. But most likely in this chapter we're going to get more interactions between Scince as well as Suika, and possibly the revival of everyone else in the series, so I'm really looking forward to it. And hopefully if you're looking forward to it as well, then you would also be looking forward to my reaction as well. And if this is the first time you're seeing this reaction, hello, welcome to the channel. I am Big Blue Drew, and if you like this type of content, hit that subscription button and hit that notification button to be notified whenever I upload my videos about Dr. Stone and my other series that I react to on Shonen Jump on the website every Sunday. And without the way, let's get right into the reaction. Alright, and we're starting off the chapter with the cover of the chapter, which is just Scince. Weirdly enough, he's wearing a black garb this time, so Suika might have given it to him, as well as we get to see Suika once again. She's more grown up, she's around hopefully the age of 15, as she's hugging and crying on Scince. It's only started and I'm already feeling teary-eyed, as we have Dr. Stone. Story by Richiori Inagaki, art by Boichi. Art is always beautiful and on point by Boichi, as we have Z equals 197, a stony Eden and its forbidden fruit, tying into the oh my gosh, how do I not know, the Garden of Eden, there it is, and like this apple. So we're gonna see what this is going to be all about as we cut over to Suika. It's sort of like a flashback of how it took her years to do this off. It took me so many years to pull off. I failed over and over and over again. Oh, but we see that as she failed and as well as she grew up, that she continuously tried and tried again. And she's like, as we have Scince chiming in, is like, I failed for making nitric acid from poop. The one method that takes a lot of time, but as long as you go slow and steady, step by step, you're 10 billion% guaranteed to get revival fluid. You did good, Suika. But she's like, but I only made enough for one person, and I used that dose on you, Scince. Aww. Well, 10 billion points for getting your property straight. Time for my first scientific craftathon in 7 years, so you know, get excited. As we get Scince going through the crafting process, making a crafting like helm, crafting the glasses, like doing all of his experimentation, and just automatically comes with nitric acid acquired. All done in 1 day. And this is amazing for Suika, because like she said, and like Scince said, it took her years to create nitric acid the long and hard way, but it took Scince a day to do it. So it's amazing. It's just like, it took me years. You're just too awesome, Scince. And Scince's like, it's just a different method. As long as we've got platinum, it's a piece of cake. Which, oh yeah, I forgot, they do have platinum from what we saw with Stanley in the crew. So, and I just saw what's going to be happening as we have like Senku's like, now all we need is alcohol. That'll take half a month to ferment, okay? And in the meantime, we'll keep making nitric acid. We'll have 16 full doses. Oh, this is going to be amazing, as we see that the second person that they revive is obviously going to be Kohaku. And it says she sees Suika. She calls out Suika, as we have Suika's like, oh, Kohaku, we're around the same age now, so I guess I can't exactly ask for a classic Kohaku hug anymore. No, Suika, it's never too much to ask for a Kohaku hug, as Kohaku hugs Suika. And like she says that they're like around the same age, which, I mean, actually, now that you think about it, they are technically around the same age. It's just that she's biologically 15, but her actual age is like around 2021. But then in the same vein, technically Senku and all of the people that were petrified like during our modern time are like thousands of years old. So they're like 3,000 plus age years old. So okay, I kind of see where that's going with, but like biologically she's around 15. But this is so cool. Kohaku has been revived, so she didn't die. So this could confirm that everyone else is not dead, as we see both Ryusui breaking out. As I'm noticing something. I just realized this. I'm just realizing this. Why is Senku the only one with like the mark on his eyes? Oh, come on, Boichi. I realize that's like the artistic aesthetic of it, but like he should have been healed. Like, let's be honest, he shouldn't have the cracks on his head, but you know what? It looks cool. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Ryusui, Francois breaks out, and I don't know why. We still don't know Francois' gender. I still think that Francois may be classified or may be seen as female, but we just don't know. And she's like, or as they are like, 16 doses of revival fluid, exactly the number needed to restore us and our allies. Ha ha ha. Dealing with the enemy is a topic for another day. For now, let's keep the revival party going, as Ryusui, as they are starting to revive both Luna as well as, oh my gosh, I forgot her name. Oh gosh, I should have had this pulled up. You got Luna being revived next, as well as with, Chelsea, there it is, I remember it. Chelsea, then you have Taiju, so Taiju's alive, Ukyo's alive, Gin is alive, Carlos is also alive, as well as Kaseki. Chrome is also alive, the other guy that's with Carlos, Max, there it is, he's also alive, as Kaseki's like, oh, wouldn't you know it, every time I get revived, my Krukyones feel better than ever. Okay, you're just like hammering in the idea that it makes you healthier and healthier, but then why does Senku still have, you know what, I'm just gonna ignore it. If you keep petrifying me every now and then, this old fossil might live to see the end of this adventure. Just like how little Suika is older, before I know it, you youngsters will be old timers like me. Oh, that's so great. As you have Chrome having an idea, it's like, that's right. I just had a bad thought. To keep Kaseki alive a little bit longer, we actually could have left him petrified, because once you're dead for real, it's not like the Medusa device could bring you back. Oh, fuck! Oh, okay. Chrome, I'm glad you brought that up. I hate that you brought that up, but that kind of foreshadowing, baby. As we have Tsukasa breaking out, as well as we have Chrome talking to Kaseki. It's like, nah, who am I kidding? We need you around to keep our boat ship-shape, Kaseki. Oh, counting on me that much, are ya? I'd better put in the work. Chrome is, oh my gosh. Oh no. As we have Senku talking with Tsukasa, and Tsukasa's like, Senku, how is Hyoga? As Senku just comes to this realization, like, oh, wait, did he die? He's like, oh, him? He gets the last dose of revival fluid. As everyone's like, heck yeah, we'll have the crew up and running again. I lined you all up and waited years for this moment. Oh no. Oh no. And Tsukasa's just thinking to himself, can Hyoga really be revived? As they pour it on Hyoga, and from what we have with the fwa, maybe Hyoga's actually alive. I don't know. Like, if Hyoga's alive, I wouldn't be surprised. But if he's dead, I'm actually gonna be shocked. Oh, thank gosh. Okay. Hyoga is actually alive. Oh, and I just realized Suika put the leaf across his face. And Hyoga's like, oh, Hyoga's alive, thank goodness. Out with Hyoga! You got the perfect saying for this moment! I don't need a thank you or anything. Oh my gosh. And Tsukasa is just shocked by the fact that Hyoga's actually alive. Okay. I was kind of nervous because I thought Hyoga was gonna die. Is Chelsea just chimes in, nah, not that. The thing Hyoga always says. And he's like, yes, you've done well, definitely. I freaking love you guys! Oh, okay, so everything is back to normal with the status quo. That's fine. Everyone is celebrating. Hyoga and Tsukasa go out. They killed some pigs. They made cloth. They're having a bonfire. Everything is good. Everything is great. Everything is back on track. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I was really thinking that Hyoga was going to die, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't die. So I'm okay with this. I'm okay with Hyoga living because it was still up in the air on whether or not he actually died or not, or if he can be revived. Like, he could have like bled out and didn't necessarily die in that moment. So it's all good. It's all fine. As we have Ryushi saying, haha, starting tomorrow, we'll resume our journey to revive our people in the US, Japan, Treasure Island, and, well, everyone all over the world. But tonight, we feast to victory! Yeah! As we have everyone just having a drink, having fun. Luna is trying to get with Senku, as always. As we have Chrome's like, huh? You still got those cracks, Senku, even though you were petrified and revived. Yeah, I guess that erosion got preserved. Okay. Okay. I can stick with that. I guess because this is the first time he was petrified, and because the cracks were on him longer than everyone else, and because he was petrified with the cracks on, okay, fine. I can accept that. I will accept that, okay? Fine. I'll accept that explanation. I'll accept it. That's fine. As we have Gin also chiming in, is like, I believe that dear Tsukasa took a stroll to the water well hut all alone. All eyes on me, everyone! As he tells SSeku, most likely so that he can, like, talk with Tsukasa, and it's like, all eyes on me, everyone! 7 years of inactivity is too long for a mentalist, so how about a magic show to celebrate our victory? As everyone's having fun, Chrome decides that he needs to pee. Bad! Might had one too many drinks! As he sees both Senku as well as Tsukasa on the riverbed, just most likely staring at the night sky. And it's like, right, since he lost consciousness, Hyoga himself had no way to realize. And he's like, huh? Even though time passed to be sure that my eyes didn't deceive me. As we have cutting back to that moment, that back there he was really dead. Oh, that back there he was really dead. Everyone's thinking, enough time passed to be sure that my eyes didn't deceive me. As, he's talking to Senku, he's like, your testimony is as good as gold, Tsukasa. Actually, ever since you snapped my neck and I put you into cold sleep, I've been tossing and turning around a hypothesis. Now we've got a solid proof from this unplanned, death-defying experiment. The petrification can nullify death. Which means at the very moment, we the humans of Earth, all of us, are now immortal. Wyman's Dr.Stone is a scientific taboo not meant for humanity. Our own forbidden fruit. They are... and the chapter ends there with that revelation. Oh no. All right, it's a scientific taboo not meant for humanity, for our own forbidden fruit. Chrome hears this. Senku and Tsukasa comes to the same. Sorry. So, I guess it's time to go into review time. Wow, that was... I'm not gonna say that it was unexpected, and it was hinted at for a while, but I didn't think that that is something that Boichi as well as Inagaki would go with it. So, from what we learned in this chapter, the petrification is basically a form of immortality, where if you're petrified in stone long enough, as long as you're unpetrified without erosion, you won't necessarily die, as we've seen in the story, and the fact that Scince was able to survive 3,000 years. So it's basically a reset button for people, and we've seen what this reset button could do. Let's go into the implications of this and the fact that they're quote unquote immortal, more or less. That if they fuck the world up long enough, that they can, in some way or fashion, petrify themselves to a long enough state for the world to recuperate and then continue that cycle once again, and basically making themselves immortal, which I'm gonna wait for that to pass, which brings a morality to this of whether or not this scientific taboo, this scientific tool should exist. Because if everyone's immortal, then there wouldn't be a need to really be having children, and if they do have children, then that just means that the population will always be increasing, and that there wouldn't be any influx in it, meaning that if 7 billion people are alive and they continue to live and they continue to populate, that 7 billion could easily double if everyone has one kid, or depending on if it's 50-50 and excluding people that may or may not want children or can't have children. Hypothetically, if half and half of humanity had children, had 2 children, they could theoretically double the population of the world from 7 billion to 14 billion, technically in a year, while keeping everyone else in the world alive. And then that's gonna need double, if not triple, the resources to keep that sustainable. So it's a moral quandary of whether or not this thing should exist. And I'm actually interested to see how it's going to be tackled, whether or not they're going to keep the petrification device or potentially destroy it, knowing how dangerous this is. Because we've seen how dangerous it is in the hands of people that are greedy and want to pursue science. With one device, the entire world, everybody on humanity gets petrified immediately, and there's no way to stop that. Even if you were to find a way to if that knowledge of how the magical unpetrification fluid were to get to the world, there could be people that find devices to try and get rid of that. So it is a moral quandary that I really want to see more of it discussed in this chapter, because overall, when it comes to this chapter, I think this is a very amazing chapter of Dr. Stone. The past 3 chapters have been amazing. We get to see Suika, going back to the beginning of the story, because I've been focusing a lot on the end, not the story, but of the chapter, focus on the beginning. We get to see Suika and her interactions with Scince, and how reviving Scince was the easiest option, because from there, it took them maybe around 16 additional days to make the other nitric acid, and then took them a few more months to basically revive everyone, starting with Kohaku, and then Ryusui, Francois, Chelsea, Luna, Taiju, Ukyo, Gin, everyone else is revived. So now their next goal is to try and revive everyone across the world, and that they also learned that the revival fluid can revive the dead, as we've seen with Hyoga, who, let's be honest, Hyoga's a good guy now. The fact that he had to y'all guys did good. That was a funny moment for me. And just seeing all of them having fun. That's all well and good. But just going into the last few panels of this chapter, where also most likely Gin also comes to that same conclusion, because he also tells Sinku that Tsukasa is by the river. So it's very interesting to see that Dr. Stone, sure, it's about science and the importance of science, but also it's going to address certain taboos of science creation, such as the taboo that with science, experimenting on humans, we have in some ways gain a better understanding of the physical limitations of humans, but the immoral parts of it were the experimentation on people, like the Tuskegee experiment, something that technically bolstered scientific knowledge, but with the detriment of hurting people. And when it comes to literally the science of keeping people immortal, you have to address like the morality of it and whether or not we should live forever. Because if we do live forever, that means that most likely more resources are going to be drained faster, meaning that we could theoretically push ourselves to the brink of death faster, but because we have the device, we can just keep resetting the world. But then it comes to the moral aspect of, should we have the power to reset the world? And if this power gets into the wrong hands, what if someone like Stanley appears, who gets his hands on the petrification device, makes himself the ruler of the world, and only petrifies certain people, because it has the ability to make you immortal, but it doesn't make you unable to be killed. If like someone cuts off your head, because we also know that if it erodes, you cannot be fully petrified. Fully unpetrified if your body erodes. So even though you're quote unquote immortal, you're not invincible, you're not invulnerable, you can still theoretically die. And then it just brings in a whole new aspect of morality to Dr. Stone that wasn't really there in the first place. Even though it was kind of hinted at beforehand, it wasn't something that was like objectively upfront up until this moment. So most likely we're not just going to get like science, like in the morality of science, but we may actually dive a little bit more into philosophy and whether or not people should be immortal and how that should be addressed with science. So this is going to get very interesting. So we're not just going to be focusing on the journey itself, but whether or not they should partake in the journey in the first place. At least that's how I'm thinking of it. So this last few pages of Dr. Stone really change how you view the story and certain aspects of the story, such as Senku's revival, Tsukasa's revival, and how they technically died. And this explains how they were able to come back to life, but then it adds another problem to it that they have to discuss and figure out. And hey, they may come to a conclusion that it's like, yeah, we may have to destroy this, or we could just keep one just in case and just live life as it is until something horrible happens, and then that's when we'll use it. So this may also tie into the idea that the Medusa device may be so like deadly and so tempting that even if they do keep it, it may not play a bigger role in the story moving forward for how dangerous it is. Because if you just have like a reset button with you at all times, sure, it lowers the stakes, but because we're adding like the morality of it, even though it lowers the stakes, it still makes it less likely to occur, still putting it like higher up. You have a solution to any problem, but the morals and the immorality of it prevents you from using it. So it's not something that will be used very frequently in the series, which makes a whole lot of sense to me, because it means that the Medusa, even though it's a basic instant win button, if you add the morality of it, it makes you less likely to use it, which would make it less likely of an automatic win, meaning that they have to find other ways to achieve their goals to win battles without having to rely on this device. So yeah, all in all, just a very interesting and a very great chapter of Dr. Stone, adding a little bit more philosophy to it when it comes to the morality of the science, as well as just seeing all of the kids, all of the characters finally revived, and seeing how they're most likely going to go on the journey to revive everyone. Most likely the next chapter, what I think is going to be happening is that we're going to also focus more on the morality of the fact that humans can become immortal, and whether or not they should use science to do so, and whether or not they should break the taboo of what they've discovered, and whether or not they're going to share it with everyone. And if they don't share it with everyone, what are they going to do about it? So we're most likely going to get that established more next chapter, as well as the fact that, once again, Chrome hears this all going on, so he's going to have to be a part of it because he hears it and he can't get rid of it, which is why he's most likely one of the generals of it, because he puts himself in these situations, and for the most part he's the one that comes up with like the ideas that actually get them out of the situations. So I want to see like how Chrome is going to deal with this realization that humans are immortal now, basically. But also, I think what's going to happen is they're going to address whether or not they should or should not like revive all 7 million people, particularly when it comes to Stanley as well as Zeno, because their ideals are pretty much the fear of having people being immortal in this world, people like him existing. So most likely they're going to tackle whether or not they're going to revive Stanley or not, and most likely begin to process going back on their journey to revive the entire world, or maybe not. We just don't know, and that is what I'm looking forward to next chapter. So all in all, really enjoyed this chapter. Hopefully you enjoyed this chapter. Hopefully you enjoyed this reaction / review. If you did, leave a like on this video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, leave a comment down below on what you thought of this chapter, hit that notification bell to be notified for whenever I upload more content like this, do all that cool jazz, and hopefully I can catch you in the next video. Goodbye!